What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of StoryHive On Location Vancouver with beats, eats, and more. I am your host, Kazi. We are broadcasting live on the unceded ancestral lands of the Musqueam, the Tsleil-Waututh, and Squamish First Nations. Utmost love and respect to the original stewards and protectors of these lands, these waters. Also, big shout outs to TELUS STORYHIVE for powering today's episode. I am so excited for this next guest. This is 121, of our live stream interviews over the course of 4 seasons. And we have a multidisciplinary performer rooted in movement, expression, and community care. Lola Loops, also known as Nancy, began her journey with a single hoop, exploring spiral movement that grew into wide-ranging practice spanning street and contemporary dance, ritual theatrics, soft acrobatics, stilt dance, and clowning. As the founder of Lola Loops Entertainment, she works across performance, production, and talent booking while actively advocating for accessibility, representation, and safer creative spaces within the circus arts community. You may or may not recognize her as she is always changing her looks, but Lola Loops has performed on many stages and streets, from Base Coast to local city festivals. I'm so excited to have this reunion and cute convo with one of one Lola Loops.
Oh my God, that intro. Thank you.
Right? I had to make sure you felt special because you are.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Oh my God.
It has been a serious trip down memory lane coming back into Lola's or Nancy's personal home here. 12 years ago, we remembered that we actually had met when I first moved back to Vancouver. And we worked together on Circus Fest.
Circus Fest, yeah.
Yeah, volunteer coordinating.
Yeah.
You were the head, I was your assistant, and we were a team. And that was our early beginnings.
Yeah, it really was, yeah.
I'm really stoked that you're on the show.
Thanks for having me. I'm stoked too. What an honor.
How do you feel today? How are you arriving?
Yeah, no, really good. It's just going to be nice to catch up. Like, I'm a little nervous, live, oh my God. But it's going to be really good. Oh, yeah, I'm excited.
Yay. Well, I want to start with your early origins and beginnings.
Oh, okay.
I'd love to know about the first time you picked up a hoop and at what point you knew you weren't going to put it down.
Oh, what a fun trip down memory lane. Yeah. I would say, as a lot of prop spinners go, festivals. I went to my first music festival here on the West Coast, and I saw someone hula hooping, and I was like amazed and in awe. I was like, oh my gosh, like, how is she doing this? I don't even know who it was. I just saw someone. And then I decided to spin poi. So I didn't even start with hula hoop. I started with poi.
Poi again is?
Poi is when there are 2 balls on 2 strings and you spin it. It comes from different traditions in New Zealand as well. But that's what I started off with. And I found it really hard. And I kept smacking myself in the head with it. And then I was like, this is actually harder than I thought. And then I was going to a picnic, and I saw someone on Craigslist selling hula hoops out of her van for $25 on Craigslist. Yeah. So I messaged her and got a hula hoop and then started hula hooping and went, wow, this is so much fun. Wow. Yeah. And it was just making me happy. And then I just kept doing it over and over again. And then I had someone just kind of like pull me aside, be like, oh my God, you look like you're having so much fun. And I went, oh my God, I am. I'm having fun while I do this. And then someone was like, oh, well, would you want to do this and maybe get paid? And I went, wait a second, someone's going to pay me to do this?
Like, have fun and play?
Have fun and play and get paid? I was like, okay, let's go. And that was pretty much it. And then I just haven't stopped since.
How long ago was this?
2011 is when I started. Yeah, and then from there kind of stemmed like community and meeting my hoop mentor, Ali Oop, which was the organizer and producer of Circus Fest. And
Shout outs to Ali Oop.
Right, and that's how we all kind of came together. And that's how the community of like circus and underground circus and studios and just like learning from people and community kind of just started. And then I couldn't stop because it was meeting the people, learning the tricks, but then also like learning the feeling that it gives you. And it just kind of went from there.
Which is what for you?
The feeling of like happiness and accomplishment when you work really hard for something and then you get that kind of mind-body connection and endorphins. Working out, moving your body, it all like makes those little happy chemicals happen. And it just kind of all connected. And that's when I just kind of realized, oh, if I keep doing these, all these little happy bits will kind of keep happening into my life. And it has. From meeting different people, from getting to experience traveling in different places through hula hooping. It's like a dream. I'm like, wow, am I still doing this? And having so much fun, and then getting to meet all these people in many different degrees of separation is really, really cool.
Had you tapped in like when you were a kid before with hula hooping?
No.
Or did you have a previous movement practice?
Not really. I actually came from the sports world.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I grew up playing rugby.
What?
Yeah.
No, you're hardcore. You're hardcore.
So I actually had no like movement background growing up. I played the oboe in band, and I played rugby. And basically that whole community of like women sticking together and literally having your back in a rugby game is kind of what connected me with circus, of like, oh, community members, people having your back, people teaching you things and just like cheering you on. And that was kind of like the same thing as in sports. And so when I moved out west and realized I couldn't play sports anymore because if I get hurt, what else do I do?
Yeah.
Right? When you move away from home and you don't have a lot of like people you can lean on when you first move away. So I really had to decide, do I keep playing sports or do I go a different direction? And then hula hoops and circus came into my life, the perfect time.
Where did you grow up?
I actually grew up in St. Catharines, Ontario.
Okay.
So the southern part of Ontario there. And I grew up there, went to school there, and then I moved out west when I finished college.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what brought you out here?
The mountains. So I have a background in tourism and event management.
That's right.
Yeah, and I did my co-op placement out west, and I did that for like 6 to 8 months, went back home and realized, wow, I think there's a little bit more out in the world than here. And then I moved out west and haven't looked back since, literally, I moved out here in 2009. Wow, 2009.
That's, is that 20 years?
No.
Almost?
We can't math right now.
Yeah, we can't math right
2009. It's a long time ago.
Yeah, it's a
okay.
long
And we
time
don't
ago.
age a day,
Yeah.
right?
No, never. Especially if you've got Asian in your blood.
Oh,
That's
my goodness.
right.
Yes, yeah.
We don't hit that until we're like 60, and then you start to see the aging. So
Where it like switches and you get short and you wear big, really round glasses.
Yes.
Everyone's seen that.
yeah, or like the Asian aunties who just have full-on face coverage because they know that the sun damages your skin. This is where I'm at now, where I'm like thinking about full face visors in my life.
I have a few of those because we want to tan, but then you also want to tan and keep plump at the same time.
That's it.
Yeah. Sunscreen when you're sitting in this daylight. Yeah.
I love how you talked about how it just started with a single hoop and a spiral. And then it got me all like philosophical thinking about what do you think the spiral movement represents for you in this life?
Ooh. I would say like keep going, like the spiral movement of just like the beginning and the end kind of all attaching to each other. And when you're hula hooping, it's either you're spinning or the hula hoop is spinning around you. And that's what I really like to play with as well, is the spirals of getting in the hoop or the spirals on the outside of the hoop. And I think that's where, when doing circus, I realized my mind and body connection of like, oh, I can feel my body move a certain way and then make it move a certain way, and then it will. So then it was this connection that I didn't have growing up, just even though like you have mind-body connection within sports, but this was a little bit different. And that's when I started unlocking different avenues of movement. And when I got into more like contemporary and street dance movements and realizing that it's all connected and that each movement of your body is connected to the next. And then it spirals into the next thing as per the spiraling hula hoop.
The continuum.
The continuum, yeah.
Just a quick thing. I feel like maybe your hair might be hitting the mic.
Oh,
if you want to move it maybe
this
to
one?
the other side.
Oh, this one?
Yeah.
Okay, that
there
one.
you go.
There
Was
you go.
there a significant experience or show that had an impact on you and you knew you wanted circus to continue being part of your world?
Oh, wow. I don't know if there was a specific like show or specific like place, but I think it was when I started building acts, when I realized, oh, this could be a thing, or when I started really just putting my own kind of spin on things and really connecting it with like a story I wanted to tell personally. And then people enjoying it. Like that was when I really thought of, wow, like this is making people think, either like happy or sad, or just, people are like the positive reinforcement and like all these things that people are saying, realizing that, oh, my story does have a place in this world, and like maybe people resonate with it, or maybe people don't. And it was just really nice to find those connections after I would speak to people, either after a show or after a time that they've seen me. And that's kind of what has kept me going and kept me really wanting to continue performing, is when I found those little bits and pieces in the beginning, and then like really realizing like, oh, okay, this could be a thing.
And it has become a thing.
It has become a thing, yes.
For those people out there who might not know what you mean by acts and starting to build an act, can you give an example of?
I would say like stage acts. So either I do a lot of work as a variety show, like a variety act in either like drag shows or burlesque shows in the city, or even at festivals. So it'd be creating an act with specific music for like 3 to 5 minutes at a time.
Okay.
Yeah.
And a character and a
look. A character and a look. The character could either be myself or something I'm trying to portray within the song or within the act and the story that I'm telling.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So both of us work in forms that often get reduced to spectacle before people understand the artistry behind them. From your perspective, how do you define circus as an art form?
Oh, that's a really good question.
You know what I mean? Because within street dance and club dance, that's what people see. It's like entertainment and spectacle, and they don't really understand or have seen it presented in a way that this is an art form.
I would say like those small connective moments with either the audience or the person. Because anything you do could be a spectacle, and like some of the work that I do is spectacle work when it comes to like roving, and roving is where you kind of go out for short periods of time and you are that spectacle. To stage shows where you're a spectacle, but it's a spectacle with a bit of an extra added story and emotion to it. And I think for me, the difference would be those intimate connections that you have with audience members. So you can be a spectacle roving, but then connecting with them by the eye contact or the smile, I think is what's the difference between just being a spectacle and being able to create this whole like little universe that you bring people into. Yeah.
I think especially on the being able to tell stories through your acts, like it becomes that point of reflection for people to see themselves in it, and how you're saying it's that point of connection with others, like that they wouldn't even realize they needed that moment. You know? And I think there's so much profound depth in that people wouldn't even realize, like that is art, that is artful.
And even the connective moments where you would say like, when you're doing circus tricks, you don't get the trick, or you don't get the full movement or what you were trying to achieve. There was one time that I had someone come up to me after I knew that I messed up. I missed my trick, but they came up to me and enjoyed that I messed up because it brought some uniqueness and some like reality and life to it, being like, oh yeah, we watch you and you're so perfect and you do all these things, but the moment you don't catch it, we're like, oh yeah, you're human like all of us. And so even those moments where you're like, oh my God, I screwed up, like it was awful, no one noticed. And when they do notice, but then notice on this like really positive way, that moment just made me feel like, oh wow, okay, even in my screw ups, there are those moments of connecting with someone who are realizing that, oh, we're all just humans doing this thing.
Figuring it out.
Yeah.
At what point did you pick up stilt dance?
Oh, wow.
Because when we met, you were just hooping at the time.
Yeah.
And then, your practice has evolved to so many other forms.
Yeah. Well, it's so funny because stilts and stilt dance especially has like come into my life in such an interesting way, and kind of like a whirlwind in wanting to like grow, which is stilt, you grow taller.
But
thank you.
Yeah.
But it actually came in more of like a political thing for me. Someone I used to know mentioned that, there weren't a lot of POC stilters in town, and that's why they can't get booked. And at that point, I was very like, oh, well, you're not looking hard enough. Maybe there are POC stilters out there, just aren't getting the same accessibility needs met. Doing circus is not necessarily affordable depending on the apparatus that you go on. And, stilts, you either have to make them or you have to buy them. And so you either have to know the knowledge in making them or have the accessibility in funds to purchase stilts. And so at that point, I was like, oh, okay, so that's everybody's issue, that they just can't find a person of color to do it, or even create an opportunity that these people of color will come out and say, I also do these things. So it was kind of a little bit of a political, like, well, I'm going to do it then. And then there'll be no excuse. There'll be no excuse for producers and people out there to be like, oh, well, we couldn't because there just wasn't.
Right.
Because that's, a lot of people's MO. And so it's like, well, no, now there is more than that. And I think the stilt community here now is also looking at making it accessible. There's stilt jams happening in town now that are making it accessible for people to come out and experience stilts in whatever level, and having stilts available in accessibility to do it. So, yeah.
How does it feel to be up there?
Not bad.
Yeah.
It was scary at first.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I love 2-foot stilts because I love to wiggle around and move around and dance around and do some soft acrobatics in it. 3-foot stilts are actually kind of like, for me, I'm like, wow, this is really tall. And then there's 4-foot stilts out there.
And the ones you use?
Mine are 2. Mine are 2-foot. But
the one in your pictures? Those are just
those
2?
are only 2.
That looks high to me, dude.
Also when you're short, so it's also a little bit, but
Yeah.
there are 4-footers out there, and I know the people that do 4-footers out there. They're amazing. But yeah, standard in town is like 3 foot, 3.5 maybe. I know people that do 3.5. So
yeah. You were making me think back on it was Winter Arts Fest of last year. We would have had you soaring stilt dance. Which was super cool. I love the photos. I love all the events that y'all have been doing.
Yeah.
And so did you start that group as a result of what you just explained?
Yeah, pretty much. My stilt dance partner, Bella Bazaar, we were connecting, and I believe she was just moving into town not too long after we met. And we just kind of were on the same page of like changing the narrative of what's out there and making the view of what contemporary circus or what circus is and what's showcased a little different. And so we kind of took a different approach. And with that, we met a company in Calgary, 3 Left Feet, Laura, and she is an amazing stilt dancer. And I connected her through the internet.
Yeah.
And I was like, you're amazing. Can we hang out? Let's do some stilting. And we ended up bringing her into do like a weekend workshop with the both of us. And then from there, I applied for a Canada Arts Council grant with stilt dance as the like narrative and as the project.
Yeah.
And a lot of it talked about accessibility, and it talked about growth, and it just talked about representation and this new form of, not this new form, but this form of stilt walking and stilt dancing that needs to be like out there more in the world. And they liked it. So then I got it.
Yes.
And then I started doing more things with it. So it's just this amazing like snowball effect, and it just feels really good and supported that, oh my God, like these people and places want to do things and make things happen. And that was kind of the big thing with Soaring a Stilt Dance, was just to bring different avenues of movement in different heights with different looks just out there in the world, especially within our community.
Is it easier than most people think to get on them and to find balance on them?
Well, with everything, it comes with practice, right? So I would say it doesn't take as long as you think.
Okay.
Yeah. And if you already have, like I've seen people who have never stilted, but have this great mind-body connection or do other things, and they're up and they're walking and they're dancing around.
I feel intrigued. I feel intrigued to try.
Ooh,
because I am 5
next
foot tall.
episode.
Like actually though. Yeah, because I'm 5 foot tall. I would like to experience what it's like to be 7 feet, maybe 8.
Ooh.
That's risky. Let's start with 7. Let's start with 7.
Yeah, we can definitely do that for you.
You know, I've just never known the joys of seeing over most people's heads unless they're children.
And you know, the funny thing about that is every time I'm still on stilts, I always make jokes about seeing the tops of people's heads
Yeah.
because you never see the tops of people's heads ever. Well, I
Yes.
never do, right?
I
I'm
never
5'5",
do. Yeah.
so I don't see that. But then when I see other people,
Yeah.
or when I see people almost as tall as me, because you're only like, 7 feet tall, and there are people who are kind of that tall. I'm always just like, oh my God, one of us. Do you have your stilts on too? It's a joke. They kind of get it.
That's so funny. I'd love to hear more about how you train and what your movement practice looks like today. And how has it changed from your younger years as our bodies evolve?
Oh, wow, great question. That's great. What do you mean? My body's exactly the same how it used to be.
Exactly.
Exactly the same. Well,
We drink elixirs. That's what's happening.
Yeah, it's the lemon ginger tea, right?
Yeah.
Well, I would say, with time and when I was younger, I had more time to do more training in bigger chunks, I would say. So now in juggling, 5 million jobs that we have in this city to survive, I've really had to be specific in my pockets of training in what really helps is having something come up when you're training for the next thing. I have
a performance
or this thing I'm applying for, or this thing I want to do, or this thing I'm trying to get. So as long as I have a couple of those things kind of in my basket or in my hat, I'm like, okay, that makes me want to train. Being able to have accessibility to space. There are a few circus schools in town that have great open jam and open gym times that are really good to train at. But a lot of it is also balancing that with functional fitness and training, so then you can do it forever. Because for me, I don't want to do it for now or for the next 10, 20 years. I want to be able to do it forever. There's going to be a market for old lady circus, and I'm here for it.
Yes.
Right?
That's right.
There's got to be a market for that soon.
Yeah.
So when that happens, I'm here and I'm ready. But yeah, I think it's just really just focusing on everything connecting. So listen when your body is tired and don't push through, or really listening to those parts, because it does take a little bit longer to heal certain things.
Yeah.
So it's just a lot of listening more to yourself rather than pushing through when you're younger and be like, I'm fine. Oh, I'm fine. I can do this. And then you realize afterwards, oh, not so fine.
It's true. And then you pay for that afterwards, and it's not cute.
Yeah. No.
You think it's cute in the moment, but it's not cute later. I'd love to know specifically, do you do a couple of hours here of hooping or stilt jamming, or what is part of your movement practice?
It's so funny. If I go to a studio, and I've been really lucky to have access studios with Future Leisure at 45 West or Golden Saucer, I clean the studios there as well. Yeah. So I kind of block in when I'm cleaning the studio to use the studio. So that has been my weekly thing. And I'll block a few hours, because you're right. When you're doing stuff, I like to chunk focus hoop stuff. Okay, I'm going to learn, or I'm going to train these hoop stuff. And most of it, what I'm training are splits. So 1 to 5 or 6 hoops at a time to split.
Wow.
So my kind of repertoire for that is I would go with 1 hula hoop, and I would put 1 track on, and then two hoops with another track, and then 3, and then 4, and then 5, and then 6. And that would be my first multi-hoop warm-up, essentially.
By track, you mean each song?
Yeah, each song.
Dang.
So it's kind of what you do, and you can do anything. You just need to use 1 hula hoop, and then the next one you can do anything you want, but with 2. And if I'm focusing on splitting, then I will try to keep it split for however long I can within that track, and then try again. And then I would take a break and roll around, roll on the ground, stretch my body out, do some dance stuff, and then I would get stilts on, stretch with a bit of stilts, and then get up on stilts and dance around and move my body. And if I'm not tired, I will try to do acro stilt stuff.
Which is?
Headstands and downward facing dog, and trying to do a little more active acro stuff. It kind of depends. Maybe I'll move that first. Depends how tired I am. But I need a good, if I'm literally training for everything, I need a good 2 or 3 hours. Okay. And so I really try to do that a few times a week. I say that. This is accountability. Do I do that?
This is aspirational.
Yeah, yeah. But if I get myself to the studio, and I'm already cleaning the studio, so I'm doing something. And if I don't do all of it, it's okay. Because I can just choose one and not be hard on myself for that.
love that. It's a good mentality to
right?
have.
Because you want to do all of the things all the time. But sometimes your body's like, no, just choose one. It's okay.
Yes. What does recovery look like for you?
A lot of baths with Epsom salts.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Love
Epsom
those.
salts, hot baths. A lot of, what else is my recovery? Dancing. Going out dancing is recovery for me.
Yes.
Just to like move your body in a different way, wiggle it all out. See community. That's a little bit refreshing for me. Nourishing, yeah. But yeah, recovery is just like a lot of good food and being lazy.
The vegging out, the potato
The vegging
wing.
out, yes.
Yes.
And we're so hard on ourselves for that, aren't we? Like we're hard on ourselves for vegging out, but like it needs to happen. And I think as I get older, being okay with vegging out, I'm feeling better with it. Because before I was like, oh my God, I'm not doing anything. Why am I not training? Why am I not doing this? But like, how is that like forever accessible? How is that forever, like, how can you do that forever? I'm sure you can. And I'm sure there are spaces and things that can make that easier for you. But for me, it's been really nice to kind of like try and find the balance of it all.
I agree. I've had moments where I've tried to practice something and drill it in and actually have felt very frustrated because it would feel like I wasn't getting it. And then I would take a break from doing that thing, relax, then end up at a party where the DJ's playing the music, and then all of a sudden I nailed the thing that I was trying to practice and drill.
Yeah.
And it just emerged naturally on the dance floor.
Yeah.
And it was like, what? So there's something to be said about what, maybe it's the mind-body connection thing, but like there's something to be said about what you can access when you're relaxed.
Yeah.
Actually, that's been part of my practice now, is like relaxing as much as like activating, because I think I'm making this up. I have not studied neuroscience or whatever, but I think there's something about the mind-body connection that strengthens when there's repetition of drilling, but then a break and relax, and then something clicks.
Yeah.
I can't explain it. Any neuroscientists out there who want to verify my hunch?
I love that.
You know, have you ever had that?
I think so. And like for us in the circus world, we go to like circus jams, very similar to like street dance jams and battles and things. And when you're not thinking about it, you get it. And that's what I find, like when you're drilling a trick, you're drilling it, you want to get it, but it's that moment you don't think about it and you let your body do the thing, that sometimes it just kind of happens. And there's so many moments with hula hooping that has happened to me, and it's like you're chasing that thrill and you're chasing that feeling of like, I got it. And then you're like, oh my God, did anyone see that? No one? Okay, good. It's
I didn't even record it.
Yeah.
Found it. Yeah.
And funny thing with tricks and stuff, the way I know if I've got the trick is like if I do it like 10 times and how many times I've got it within that 10 times. It's like, oh, I got it like, 3 times out of 10, awesome. And then I just keep playing with that kind of those numbers, and it makes me feel better every time. And that's how I know, oh, I got that trick. I can do it like 3 out of 5 times now. Like it's so much better.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that. So you're dealing with a lot of risky moments, props, being on stilts, things possibly smacking you in the face.
Oh, yeah.
When something goes wrong in a performance, what part of you takes over and how do you keep going?
Ooh, that's a good one. I just keep smiling and continue on in hopes no one saw. And if it doesn't, like, and the trick is don't let them see it on your face. That was a big one for me. If you just smile it out and just continue on with it, no one will know that it happened, except for you, of course. And you might, really dig yourself about it, but then sometimes no one even notices. But it's just kind of that spiralingness. You just kind of spin with it and go with it and pick it back up. When it comes to, I actually had a hula hoop break on stage once when I was doing like multi-hoops.
Yeah.
And the connection came out and it split.
Oh no.
And then I just continued, but I wanted to finish my set with all those hoops. So I picked it up, I cheekily put it back together, and then I did it again, and then it broke again. And then I was like, that's fine. You know what? I'm just going to finish with this. And then it was done. And there's so many people came up to me afterwards and was like, I love that you just kept putting that back together, trying again. And I was like, I was very determined to get it. But then I just kind of let it go. I tried once, it wouldn't hold, and I just kind of let it go, and I just kept going. But that takes a lot of fails to kind of feel confident in doing.
Yeah.
And each and every time I'm like dying on the inside, but as long as I just keep smiling, no one will know.
It's almost like the act of smiling gets you out of, when like a spiral down.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Where like if you start to let it creep up, then you're just like, oh no, one thing after the other. And like the smiling almost helps you like keep it together.
Yeah. And it's funny because I smile like in many different, like for many different reasons. If I'm awkward, if I'm nervous, if I'm happy and excited.
Yeah.
So I feel like for me, the smile is definitely like, just like, Dory, just keep on smiling, keep on swimming. Wait, she does the swimming one, right?
Yeah, and talking, I think.
Yeah.
She just keeps on swimming and talking.
Yeah, that's how we get through life.
Yeah. Do you recall any specific moments that you feel were such a big learning lesson for you through performance specifically?
Oh, a big learning lesson. I think all my performance are a big learning lesson, and I sometimes learn different things every time. Sometimes I learn that I'm a professional and I got this. And then sometimes I learn, ooh, I should have worked on that a little bit more. So there's a balance in that.
Yeah.
But each and every time I kind of get this sense of just like this sense of like happiness of us, like I'm able to tell a story, just any story, like I'm able to like hold space for people to actually want to hear or see what I have to say. And I think like being able to hold a space like that is really like powerful, and like it's a lot of pressure sometimes. But then if I just go with it and smile through it and have fun and just like really kind of be myself, it gets easier and easier every time. But I'm still nervous every time I go on stage. Even if it's like not until the moment I'm about to walk on, I'm nervous every time.
Is there something you say to yourself to
Yes.
get you ready for that moment?
Yeah, I actually, where did I pick this up from? It might have been from you, Allie, actually. I grab my hula hoops and I kind of hold them, and I do a little like hoop prayer where I just like hold them and I just thank, I thank my ancestors, I thank people that I know, the people that I don't know, and just people who've been part of my journey, and I hold them, and then I go on. That's like my thing backstage.
I love this
ritual.
ritual.
It's been like, and I just think about, people that have been here and people who have gone, and I just think about everyone surrounding me with my circles. I know, it sounds so cheesy.
No, I love it. And it honestly, I feel like everyone needs a grounding practice, especially because it's so much energy output. And also, people don't consider this if you've never performed in front of people, that there's so much energy you're actually holding for the whole room, you know, and that it does require that moment of groundedness and rooting in yourself to like prepare for that. And then almost like I don't know what the word is, but it's like a thing where you're just like, and whatever comes will come.
Yeah.
Like an acceptance of
you just
however
like
way it's going to go.
Leave it up to the universe of like, okay, I've prepared, I've practiced, I put the glitter on, let's go, and let's see it how it goes. And yeah, sometimes it goes flawlessly and sometimes it doesn't. But being a seasoned performer, I've been being able to be like gentle and nice with myself now. And that's taken a lot of time to like look at past things and be like, wow, that was really good.
Is there any stories that you've been able to tell through one of your acts that you could share about that you feel really has created an impact on other people who experienced it?
Oh.
Or like spoke to them?
Well, one of my favorite acts, I call it Ha Ha. It's a Ha Ha act.
Yeah.
And it was very track based. It was actually built based on this track that I heard called Ha Ha.
Yeah.
With artist that I can't remember the name, unfortunately, right now. But the whole track is someone laughing to them crying, to them laughing, to them crying.
What? And what's the beat?
It's this electronic synth keyboard beat.
Okay.
It's really, really cool.
Laughing and crying and laughing and crying.
But it's like, yeah, she's laughing, ha 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 ha. Like it goes in these emotions. And as soon as I heard the track, I was like, oh my God, this is so weird. I need to do something with this.
Yes.
And I was at a hula hoop retreat in the States, and we were doing a performance, and I was like, you know what, this is the perfect stage to build on that and to showcase it to a bunch of hula hoopers who you know are just going to be so nice and give you great feedback and just like really be honest with you. So I kind of threw it all together, put it on stage, and it was a great experience. And then I brought it back home and was going through a lot at that time and had another opportunity to perform it at the Rio stage with April O'Peel's burlesque shows.
Wow.
And then I took that moment, I was like, okay, let's really feel this track. And the track, I say I don't do a lot of tricks in it. I say that, but you know, other people would say different. But it's a very emotional track where my facial and my body expressions literally go into laughter and sadness while I'm hula hooping. So it's this play on being happy and sad, but then also doing the thing and dancing and doing the tricks and doing the thing. And you know, the world is burning and we're still performing and smiling and making the things happen. So it's kind of like you're being this puppet in this laughter and crying world, and you can express that, but then also do this like theatrical, sparkly, fun thing. When I perform it, and the track is only like 2 minutes long, 2.5 minutes long, but the emotional output that comes out with it is huge. And that's the one thing I love about that. And I love my facial expressions on that and how it makes people happy, sad. And I even got scared. Someone said that my act scared them. They were like, I didn't like it. It was a little too much and scary for me. And I was like, thank you. I was like, excellent, great. Like I've never heard that feedback before. So it's an act that I've been able to like tour around for a few years in BC and performed it in many different places. And I kind of like put that on pause for a little bit until the next act comes along. And but that was probably one of my most like favorite acts that I got together.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
It's what I also find interesting is when you create a piece of work and it means something to you, but of course anyone who is there witnessing and experiencing it has their own interpretation based on their perspective, their framework of viewing life, you know. And so to hear this comment of like, I was scared, it's like, dang, you know, what was that saying to you, or what did you go through that you interpret it as such? And it's all just information, no judgment, not naming anything for whatever, but that like I find that part fascinating of like how certain things you create speak to people that you might not even have expected.
Yeah, and like just the act in itself, like personally, it was that act came out like just maybe a little bit time after my mom had passed, and so I was in this like array of like sadness, but then like smiling because I'm performing at the same time, and it was this just weird thing of like, what am I really doing? And so this act let me be sad on stage in like my whole form and let me be happy. And so it just, it let me, my output of emotion was all real, and it felt like people could see that. And so that act kind of gave me this like opportunity to be sad on stage without people realizing how sad I really was. So it was just like this output of emotion for me, which I was like really cathartic, but then also like really heavy afterwards. So I would always need some moments after performing that being like, oh my God, what did I just do? Don't look at me. Oh my God, it was so much. Yeah.
Cool. I really wanted to see that. If you have video footage.
I do have video footage. I'll send it.
Yes.
And it's not the last time it'll be performed. I have this like idea in my head that I want to have a show of some sort of all these little bits and pieces of these acts all smushed together. So my goal has been just to create these acts that I can keep performing and keep getting better at and get feedback for, and then I'll have this big show of some sort at some point.
I love this. We should definitely talk about this.
Yes,
actually.
we should.
Yeah, and I feel like it's always going to be relevant to the times.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Because it really is one extreme emotion of human experience to the other.
Yeah, and what is laughing and crying? We laugh and cry for both emotions. You know, I laugh when I'm sad sometimes, when I'm awkward, you know, and I cry when I'm happy.
Yes.
So it's just really like showing those emotions in all of its like rawness.
Being human.
Being a human.
So you actively create safer, more inclusive circus spaces, which we love, and you've been championing this. What did you notice that was missing that made you step into that role?
Ooh, okay, we're getting real now.
Take me into your world.
Well, I think it came down to all of the accessible spaces for circus in general, just like what was out there, who was running it, the accessibility in space, time and money, all that kind of stuff. And at the end of the day, everything is owned by cis white men. And yeah, that was my huge epiphany. And there are not a lot of spaces in the city, period, for extracurricular training or spaces, affordable spaces to either book time in. Yeah, so I felt like there was this little bit of gap of people who want to get in circus but don't know or don't have the opportunity to get into circus through these very professional avenues. And I didn't come through circus through a professional avenue. I came through underground, community, underground studio, shout out to Sideshow Studios, you know, they were such a pillar in having a space for underground, for the underground people to do things in, which made that accessible to feel like, oh, I have a space to go. I have a safe space to train. I have a space where I can go not be perfect, because a lot of these professional spaces are intimidating. And I go to them and they're still intimidating. And I have all these feelings of not being professional enough because I didn't go through school or was training since I was a kid, or all these different things. But, you know, it doesn't mean you're not a professional artist because you haven't done anything professional.
Yes. And since you were a kid.
And yeah, but how does that make you professional? Because you've done it for so long, because you were supported, because you were privileged, because of all these things. And it doesn't mean anything different. You know, some people who do things when they're younger don't do that now. So it could have been the difference for me too. But I think just creating spaces that people could see that, oh, I could go try. It's all about trying too.
Yeah.
And yes, all these professional spaces are great at providing that and doing community jams and spaces, but some people just might not necessarily feel comfortable for that. And so I'm always looking at places and spaces to just make people feel comfortable and people feel like they have a place to go. And you know, it's tough to do stuff like that in the city. There hasn't been a studio like Sideshow Studio since.
Yeah.
And there have been many iterations who have tried, and it's just one block from the other block, you know, city stuff.
Yeah.
Government.
I mean, we could go on and on and on about arts and cultural spaces in Vancouver for any artist and how hard it is to start something and keep it going.
Yeah.
But I do hold that space dear in my heart because it is how we first met. And again, shout outs to Alley, because at that time there was a lot of crossover with the street dance and the circus community.
Yeah.
I remember a jam where it was combining a circus artist.
It was a prop battle jam.
Yes.
Yeah. I think it was
we
Yuki.
should bring that back, actually.
Yeah. And I think Yuki did one a few years ago too, and I think Tutal was there for that one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he's it's trying, but this is my kind of dream, and my thing is getting more dance community and circus community together, because there's this crossover that we don't know yet. There's this bridge that hasn't been built. Because we're all connected and we can all do the things, so we should all come together and do it together. So that's kind of my thing of hopes and dreams and building is having a space or having spaces available that those cross connections can come. And right now, I'm working with Future Leisure, And we're really trying to kind of like create that third space and create that space where you can see all these different movement avenues all sharing the same space.
Tell us about Future Leisure.
Yeah, so Future Leisure runs right now 45 West Hastings and Golden Saucer. They've been in the community for a long time now, and it's just been really nice to see that they're still having space available. They do affordable spaces for artists to train in, to have regular space, and their spaces are used for many different things like roller skating, street dance, contemporary clowning, stilts. Like, the space in itself is now being used for so many different avenues, and I want the community members to know each other. So now that we're getting these people in, now I want to like get people knowing each other. And right next to us at 45 West is April O'Peel's new spot, and she is well known within the burlesque community. And so now we have like burlesque neighbors. So now we've got burlesque, circus, dance, all within like the same building.
Which building are we talking about?
45 West Hastings.
Like within the same building, because it's like 3 floors,
right? So 45 West, we have the top floor, one of the rooms on the top floor, and April O'Peel has the next studio next door to us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, so
How
it's
exciting.
been really cool just to kind of make those connections and, you know, just community, people knowing each other, because you never know when burlesque needs a dancer needs burlesque, we're all the same thing, circus needs this, we need this, or we can all just make a really cool event together and do a prop battle. Because that was where it all kind of smushed together, you know, dance battle, prop battle, same but different.
Yeah. That was an era. I have right now in my memory these like pictures, like old pictures that were on a Facebook album. You know?
I bet you they're still there. Who goes through and deletes their Facebook photos?
I can't even access that anymore, honestly. And it's just funny that that used to be the platform, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I used to upload like 200 pictures on a Facebook
Every
album.
night out, you would just put your... Now, I'm like, ooh, don't want to look at those photos.
Can't even choose like 10 photos to put on a carousel on Instagram.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
It's too much to think about.
Now we're so curated. Yeah. Before it was like face like this, half in the bathroom, you don't even care.
Yeah, or like 5 photos of the same dish that you ate,
Yeah.
like with just different filters.
Filters.
Yeah.
Black and white, so artistic.
So artistic. As you've started teaching and mentoring next generation, what traditions or values feel important for you to pass on? And what parts of the culture are you ready to see evolve?
Oh wow. For circus in general, I would just, for me, it's the femme culture and really pushing like POC, femme, non-binary energy, things that you don't necessarily see in commercialized atmosphere, either also within the corporate world. It's really important for me to let everyone know that everyone matters and everyone's look and there's a place for everyone anywhere. You just got to make it so. Like circus started underground. Circus started with the weirdos, you know.
Yeah.
Why are we can't be cutting those people out.
Yeah.
Like
Owning their freakiness.
owning your freakiness.
Yeah.
But then also being able, I guess, to like package it for everybody. And that's, you know, that's the whole thing when you want to sell this thing for everyone, just being able to like package yourself and be able to make it moldable to everyone without losing yourself at the same time. Also just like community and accessibility, I think is the big one for me. And like what I want to teach people is just being able to like feel connected with your body, and especially like with like younger kids who don't necessarily have physical literacy or have opportunities to learn to play, to jump. You know, houses are getting smaller, rent's getting higher, so how are these kids or how are these other people going to be able to like learn all that? So it's either the young kids who don't know it or the adults who never had a chance. And we're all just people who want to move our body in silly ways. So it's kind of a little bit like we're kind of kids being adults, adults being kids. A little bit of both.
I love that. I love that. And anything that you feel are like, okay, this needs to stay behind in the old paradigm and we're ready to evolve.
Yeah, I would say the like connection of what makes you a professional artist is a big one.
Ooh, talk to us about that.
Well, you know, like a professional artist, did you go to school for it? Do you have a degree? Like, did you train since you were 5 years old? Not all of those things, again, are accessible to people, and a lot of people feel that they're not professional enough because they don't have that backing. But you can make yourself professional enough by just being professional and training and being good and loving what you do. And there's no right or wrong way to become a professional artist. But it is funny how institutions make you put yourself in those boxes. And I use different grant programs and grant things, and there are different grant avenues that say that I'm a professional and some that say I'm not, based on my educational background.
Yeah, and based on what they have listed as their criterion
of being a professional. So it actually doesn't even matter what you've done, because whatever avenue, whatever you're applying for, whatever grant, whatever governmental institution or whatever not, they have their own look of what a valid professional is. So you can't appeal and appease everyone. So you just got to really be within yourself. And another thing is being able to have your cake and eat it too. So, I am a professional circus artist, but then I'm also professional in other avenues of my life, in event management and event production. That doesn't make me less of a professional circus artist. Respect and big ups to everyone who just does it full time. I like it to do it a little bit differently. And that's what I find worked in my life and my balance and what I love to do. And so that doesn't make me less than. And I think that's what I want to kind of change the narrative of is you're not less than someone else, you're just different. And everyone can have their cake and eat it too, just doing you.
Cut that part, make it viral, put it on the internet.
Okay.
We love that. All the children coming forward. This is your life advice. I love that. It's been so good chatting with you already so far. How would you say that your event management and production experience really supports your role as an artist and vice versa?
Oh yeah, I see so much crossover, and it has benefited me in so many ways, and I love it. And I think that's what also kind of keeps everything so fresh and new and energizing for me is, on the event production side, knowing how events work. When you're an artist, you really see it how it works, and you can step back and really resonate, have empathy for event producers, and understand where they're coming from when they're asking for these things from you.
Yeah.
I also look at it as when I apply for things, what are people asking from me? And as a producer, what do I expect? So my expectations have gone up being an event producer, because I expect a little bit more knowing what can get done.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of a catch-22, but it's not all unreasonable things. And within event production, being able to just hang out with different artists, understanding where they come from, understanding what they might need in different verbiages or different environments that other people might not really understand. Being a performer, being on those backstage things, realizing, the stage needs a sweep. Some people might not think of certain small things. So I like doing both, and I like doing it all, and it's all benefiting each other. I love performing and being on stage, but I love being backstage and stage managing or running different events, or not doing anything with performing at all and just doing all back end computer stuff. You get to see all these different avenues that get into making an event, making a festival, making a show, and I just love being part of any part of it.
I love you. Actually, though, because we need people like you, Swiss Army knife, who understand. I resonate with this.
Yeah, right.
And it's a valuable skill to have. I would encourage anyone who is a performer, if you do have a little inclination towards understanding the back end of stuff, volunteer, get some experience. It could only enhance what you also do as a performer.
And it's definitely got me connected with different people that I would have never thought of getting connected with, and just understanding their story or understanding how things work, and being able to just get absorbed in it all and learn.
Yeah.
And it's nice to do new things that you're not necessarily good at to start, and then when you build on that, it just feels really good.
Probably led you some performing opportunities too, no?
Yeah, it definitely has. Keep those in my back pocket for sure.
Yeah, That's it. You're like, not only am I great to work with, but I'm also great to work with. Rapid fire fun question time.
Okay.
We're coming towards the end of our interview, and don't overthink these questions. Just whatever's the first thing that comes to your mind.
Okay, ready.
Okay. Your favorite performance to date?
Oh no.
So
Stilts
hard.
or hoop?
Okay, one for each.
Oh no, I asked that question. Okay, stilts. For me, it's always Base Coast.
Ooh.
I always love stilting at Base Coast.
Because?
It's so much fun.
Yeah.
Everyone is just, the music is great, the people are great, and I just love making people feel good and bring that joyfulness. So a lot of like our stilt acts are either like eclectic or weird or like super fun and joyful. So I just like that is my favorite. Like the grounds are great to stilt on. There's like space when we're doing it in the daytime. Nighttime's a different thing, but but I would say for stilting is always Base Coast.
Fun.
Is my favorite.
Okay, hooping.
Hooping, I would say my haha stage act. That was probably, and I've done that a few times. The best stage that I've done that on is probably the Rio, when I first brought it to the city and I had it really dialed in, and it was at the Rio. The Rio stage is big and glorious, and I got great footage from it. So that one just really sticks out.
Love it. Dream performance opportunity in the future?
Oh, oh, I'm live too. Okay, this is planting the seed. Dream performance.
Performance opportunity.
Performance opportunity. Well, I would think it would be touring. It would be like doing a little tour, either on my own or either with a whole like show, and either being part of the show as like a variety act or a show that's been completely like choreographed and like intertwined together. So it could either be like separate acts, I'm cool with that, or like a big show intertwined with each other, touring. We'll start Canada first, BC, then all over Canada, and then international. We can miss the States, but that's fine.
I love it. Worst and most inconvenient outfit or costume you've had to wear?
Oh, okay. Oh, most inconvenient. Okay, so it's funny. Our stilt costumes are great, but sometimes I love putting things on our faces that we might not be able to see and we sweat a lot in.
Yeah.
So some of those are a little inconvenient. But I would say, okay, I have this bodysuit that has a lot of fringe, and you can't hula hoop with all that fringe. It all gets caught.
Yes.
And I tried to once, and it was the worst. I couldn't split anything, and I was just like, oh, this costume looks great, but all the fringe is like this long too.
Oh my
all
gosh.
caught in everything. So then I realized I can't wear anything with fringe.
No fringe.
No long fringe with hoops.
Learn from this.
Yeah.
In point form, what's currently exciting you in your life that isn't visible on stage?
Oh, that isn't visible on stage. I would say a lot of my event production work right now. I've gotten to work for a lot of private and public sectors of the city here as well as in Burnaby. And I think right now I'm really just honing in on some really cool contracts, finishing up some really cool contracts, and doing a lot of event production, backstage hospitality, and just event stuff on the back end. And I love it.
Can't talk about them? Are they secret?
No, they're not secret.
Yeah.
I just finished the contract with Push Festival. Shout out to Push. And that was an epic, amazing, such a great community to work with, performers. Like that was just like a highlight of this winter season for me. And right now I'm starting another contract with the city of Burnaby, working in their special events department.
Congrats!
Yeah,
That's so amazing.
Yeah, I did that last year, kind of more auxiliary, which is my what I'm doing, but it's kind of getting more like full on, and it's just really exciting with some of the projects I'm getting to do and the things I'm getting to see, and the kind of like level of things. You know, doing events in like a small sector, but this is like full city sector, and just to see that and to like really be trusted in some of the avenues, it's kind of like really cool. Yeah.
I love this for you.
Cool.
What art form outside of circus feeds you the most?
Dancing. Yeah, outside
say that.
dancing, I would say, yeah. like emotionally, mentally, physically. Like if I'm not doing circus, I'm moving my body in some way to either, you know, keep your like nervous system down, to hyping yourself up. Like a lot of, for me, is moving my body. And if I'm not, I'm like fidgeting or I'm stimming or something like that. So it's all kind of there already.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think just, dance.
Warm-up ritual you never skip.
Lying on the floor.
Mm.
Starfish first. Like whenever I get to any space, start a dance class, start anything, I literally just lay on the floor.
This is good.
To either like ground myself and to like level your back out. Because like if you're sitting all day or something, I just like want like my full back on the ground, lay in a starfish and wiggle around. That's like the first thing I do.
This is excellent.
Yeah.
I never thought about that. I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
What's harder, learning a new skill or unlearning a habit?
Ooh.
Right?
Unlearning a habit. Especially because I've been hula hooping for this long. There are certain habits that I've picked up that are hard not to do when I'm like, oh, I can't get this thing because I'm doing this other thing. It's hard to break that. And it goes to like, you know, learning things on both sides of your body, like that kind of stuff.
Ambidextrous
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Most dramatic onstage save you've ever done? Had to be dramatic.
Oh, okay. Most dramatic
On-stage save.
Okay. I did a fire hoop act.
Oh my gosh.
And I was trying to spin all of the wicks out as my finale, but this one wick would not go out. So I took the hula hoop and I like got inside of it and I put it on my forehead. So it was like a unicorn.
Yeah.
And then you would spin and then the fire would still be burning.
Yeah.
And then I grabbed it and then blew it out as the music stopped.
Okay, drama.
It was, and I have it on video. It was like perfect. It was great. And it all just kind of happened. Because I was like trying to knee hoop all of the fire out, being like, hey, it will go out now. But it wouldn't. So then I was like frustrated, did this thing, and then it worked out.
That's epic.
Yeah.
I definitely need to see that. A movement that always makes you feel powerful.
Splitting hoops. A good 5 hoop split.
Meaning?
5 hula hoops on my body, split into different parts of my body. That one makes me feel like the most badass.
That's so cool.
Yeah, very powerful, very like strong and happy when I get it.
Pre-show snack, post-show snack. Or maybe you only do one.
Pre-show snack. It's mostly a post-show snack because I would probably eat a breakfast lunch, like a brunch, and then have like smoothies and like pre-workout stuff beforehand, and then do my thing and then eat. And if it depends, what's open, what's closed. If everything is closed, which it usually is, it's A&W.
Yeah.
Burger and a lettuce wrap.
Oh, yum.
It's my favorite.
Yum.
Sometimes fries, sometimes not. Sometimes 2 burgers, depending on like the night. But always in a lettuce wrap because I love the crunchy lettuce.
Yes.
And A&W gives you like a ton of lettuce.
They do. They
give you like half a head of lettuce.
It's great.
Like, yeah.
It's great.
So those are my pre and post.
I love this. Something that scares or excites you about this forthcoming chapter?
Imposter syndrome. That scares me a little bit. You know, we all have it, but it's kind of like not getting that into my head. The more I do other things and the more I'm getting these opportunities to do other things or to step up in certain ways, I'm always just like, can I do it? Yes, I can do it. I totally can do it. But can I? But I've found recently that if I say, everything's going to be fine, it will be.
Yeah.
And I would just say it out loud. So that kind of helps me through that. But I would say, just beating that imposter syndrome for the next few chapters, just so that I can just do it.
That everything is fine. That's one of those ha-ha moments for me where I'm like laughing, crying about it. But it's also this self-soothing moment of like, life ain't that serious. Like, it's really okay. Everything will be fine.
Everything will be fine. Every little fire will find a way to put out.
Do you feel part of a lineage? If so, who's in it?
Oh, a lineage? Okay, well, I probably, if it comes through like circus and multi-hoop stuff, it would be the lineage of Alley Oop and Sideshow Studios.
Yep.
As my first hoop mentor, hoop friend, like community connecting person, I would say that I'm a lineage of her.
I love it.
Yeah.
Anyone else that?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But definitely Alley Oop.
Maybe, yeah.
That's a good one to think about, though. That's a good. When I saw this question, I was like, ooh, let me just journal on that for a second.
Yeah. I think it's the coming after. I don't know. But I think when it comes to like either mentorship or creating these spaces, like you never know who or what is gonna pop up.
For 2026, Year of the Horse. Happy Lunar New Year, by the way.
Thank you. You too.
The pace I'm moving is.
The pace I'm moving. The first word that came into my mind is through.
Ooh.
I'm just moving through. And I don't think it has like a pace, like if I'm moving fast or slow. And I think for me, I need to let go of that because I have a lot attached to, am I doing this? Is it too late? Am I doing this fast enough? Is this too slow? Am I old enough? Am I young? Like, all those things. And I think just like moving this year is just to move through it and like go with what comes to you as you move through it and not being too attached to if there's enough time or if I have enough time or do I make more time?
Any of that.
Any of that, yeah.
For 2026, Year of the Horse, who I'm stepping into or who I'm becoming is?
Who am I stepping into? I think I am stepping more into myself and like more into like who I want to become the older I get and who like, and kind of like who I want within my orbit and being more like selective or not selective or just kind of like more conscious about that. But I think I'm becoming more of a version of myself, an older version of myself, and trying to keep those younger parts that I like, but then moving through and kind of letting go of the things that I don't really need anymore.
I love this. I love that we're also going to be able to refer back to this video one day and you're able to look at this milestone moment.
I hope so.
Yes.
Especially those seeds that we planted about future things, future tours, people that like...
Future tours, people.
Future tours, future shows, like all these things. And it's funny because I really go through life being like, okay, this is an idea, we'll plant it.
Yes.
Let's plant the seed. Like it doesn't hurt to plant something. You water it here and there and something might pop up, something might not. It might take a long time. It might take, not too long.
And the practice of like life and detaching to the outcome, and also like realizing something like now, the spiral of life, full circle moment of us sitting together while I'm in a play suit. We didn't even talk about the play suit. Okay, quick shout out to the play suit.
Evan Bedell, play suit, designer extraordinaire.
Nancy has a whole series on their Instagram of playing with different patterned play suits.
Please check it out.
It's so good. Well, we've come to an hour. This has been wonderful. I feel like we did get the reunion catch-up that I was wanting.
Me too.
And I'm so glad. It's so dope to hear about your experiences, your journey, your growth through all these different circus art forms, movement practices. I'm really grateful for you.
Thanks.
You also have one of the best and warmest smiles I know in Vancouver. Lights it up on a rainy day like today. I'll tell you that much. Shout outs to everybody who tuned in on the live stream, to everybody who's watching the replay. We appreciate you. Also, big shout outs to Jam and Cameron, who's also a mutual friend of Nancy's, who could join us today. If you are a creative, an artist, a musician, a dancer, a chef, I want to talk to more chefs actually. And you're based here in the city and would like to sit down with me and share your story, please scan this QR code that's going to pop up on the edited version of this video. Fill out the form. I will look it over, and who knows, this could be you having a cute chat and some later snacks with me.
Yum.
That's right. Also, lastly, shout outs to TELUS STORYHIVE for powering today's episode. I'm your host, Kazi. This is Nancy, aka Lola Loops. Big shout outs where they can find you.
Oh yeah, on the Instagram, Lola Loops with 2 underscores afterwards.
Not one, but 2.
2 underscores. And on the stage near you.
That's it. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank
This is
you.
Story Hive on Location Vancouver.